Well, here's some stuff about the Russian army. They're giving their newly drafted soldiers absolutely no equipment, forcing the families to buy them. From one 23-year-old draftee named Vladimir, they gave us absolutely no equipment. The army has nothing. We had to buy all our gear ourselves. I even had to paint my gun to cover the rust. It is a nightmare. Soon they'll make us buy our own grenades, adding that they had been given scopes for their rifles. They were for airsoft guns. Oh, well. And they're begging for diesel to stay warm. They are catching double pneumonia and bronchitis in this freezing condition. And every day the commanders come around demanding the conscripts pay some 63 pounds, about $70 for diesel, which is to be used for heating. And they're saying, why should we pay from our own pockets? We have families just like many of the others here. Why do we have to pay out of our own pockets for diesel to keep warm? People are falling ill with pneumonia all because of the lack of diesel for heating. Yes, they care about their soldiers. Well, they care about the number of soldiers. They're complaining that they're being sent to fight in tin cans, which is how they're describing the very dated armored personnel carriers. They've been losing roughly a battalion worth of equipment each day in mid-October as Ukraine's advance. To give you an idea, that's about 40 vehicles a day. Can't keep that up for long, even if you do have stuff from World War I in storage. When Putin signed the decree declaring martial law, he basically legalized looting, which had been going on anyways, but it includes things of cultural significance. A good example of that, the body of Prince Gregory Potemkin, who was once a lover of Catherine the Great, was interred at the Cathedral of St. Catherine. They have removed his mummified body to some unknown location. Probably take it to Moscow to build some sort of monument to Putin's war. And they may be using, it can best be described, they described them as barrier troops. Basically, they're shooting their own soldiers in order to prevent them from deserting. They're deployed somewhat behind the front line to prevent the reluctant reservists who have been called up and sent to fight. Early on, they were using Chechen soldiers for this, to kill deserters and terrorize demoralized troops being sent into battle. And this is something right out of Stalin's playbook. Those who showed any hesitation toward going to the front were stripped of their ranks back then and placed in penal battalions to fight alongside prisoners who were atoning for whatever their alleged sins were. Today, the Russian generals, while they might be willing to consider executing a few men, does speak volumes about the morale of the soldiers they're commanding, and they're not going to shoot too many. They won't have anyone left to fight. Oh yeah, and remember the decree that Putin signed? Well, they're saying that they've quit calling up more people. They've got everyone they need, but he hasn't signed a decree that ends the mobilization drive. So, in other words, he could call up more people if he wanted to, and when asked about it, Kremlin said that he would not sign any order. Basically, it achieves two things. First, it means the Russians that have been mobilized remain in service until the Kremlin says the invasion is over, or a separate decision is made to demobilize them. And secondly, and probably most important, if they decide to bring up more troops, they don't need to sign a new order. It's already still in effect. And also, if he signs a decree ending mobilization, it would automatically give contract soldiers the right to resign from military service. They don't need them to be wanting to quit, able to quit. And while they've been making a hasty retreat from Kherson, I guess Russian soldiers better be able to run on their own, because if you're too badly shot up, they're leaving you there for the Ukrainians to deal with. Now, I always thought that the whole idea of wounded soldiers on the battlefield, anyways, was to tie up the soldiers to get him out of the line of fire. These guys are already out of the line of fire, and what can I say? Here in the U.S., we have this thing of leave no man behind, and obviously, the Russians don't feel that way. I mean, you could patch these guys up, get them healthy, put them back in service. Instead, you're just basically turning them into prisoners of war, drawing down your own forces. And, yes, the wonderful Chechen troops. There have been falling outs between them and the conscript. 3 soldiers have been injured in the Donetsk region during a clash between those who were drafted and the Chechens. It was described as relations between conscripts and occupation forces from the Chechen Republic. Territory of the Donetsk Oblast remains strained. They call the Chechen troops Kadyrovsky or Kadyrovskovites after Ramzan Kadyrov, their leader. They've also been branded the TikTok soldiers for their eagerness to post videos on social media. I guess taking a selfie is more important than actually shooting at the enemy. Well, I'm sure the Ukrainians don't mind them taking pictures all day long, as it keeps them from actually shooting at Ukrainians. This thing is a disaster. It's been a disaster. It's going to continue to be a disaster. It could really bring about the fall of Putin. Sooner or later, all these guys are going to end up going home, and they're not going to be happy about what they were put through. And some of their dads, uncles, were in Afghanistan and remembered how badly that turned out and how they were treated like second-class veterans when they got back. They would try to claim, the veteran benefit of, if nothing else, moving to the head of the queue when you want to go to a movie, and only to be insulted by World War II veterans who, that you didn't really fight a war. You don't deserve to be. Well, the same thing could happen, and I don't think these guys are going to take kindly to it. You don't go out and train up, 10 to 25 days of training isn't a whole lot of training, but you don't go out, get people into service just for them to want to kill you, want to overturn your government. But that's what Putin's doing, and that's a high likelihood of what's going to happen. Till tomorrow, have a good one. Stay safe. Please like and subscribe and comment. YouTube likes that. It counts towards stuff for the channel. Well, thanks again. Have a good one. Drink a cold one for me. Over and out.